Hey YouTube, Matches 860. Enjoying a cigar this morning. Garcia Vega. Because we're going to talk about Connecticut shade tobacco, which has grown about 9 or 10 miles from here. We're in the Connecticut Valley. This particular cigar has shade tobacco in it, and I understand that if you're smoking a cigar with shade tobacco in it, there's a 50-50 chance that it's Connecticut shade. Most of you that know me know I'm not really a cigar aficionado. I like a cigar about once a year, and that's about it. They tend to fill me up. Anyway, I figure I got enough cigars for another 4 years now. Before I get too far into this, I wanted to do a shout out to Hindu 3270. Put his link right up here. His name is Chris, and he's just starting out. I think he has like 3 or 4 videos up. Seems like a nice guy. Check him out. Hindu 3270. As I mentioned in the preview, I'm really not qualified to discuss Connecticut shade tobacco. It's sort of considered, at least here in Connecticut, the silent crop. It generates an awful lot of income, but people don't tend to talk about it that much. And even myself, when somebody mentions Connecticut, you know, what's Connecticut known for? The first things that come to mind are Colt firearms, Pratt & Whitney jet engines. Somehow Connecticut shade tobacco doesn't usually come up in my mind anyway. And you never read anything or hear anything on the news about it. I know when I spent 4 years up in Maine, potato country, all year long, that's all you heard about. How the crop was doing, how they expected it to do the next year. And it is, the shade tobacco is a big industry here. At the end of the last ice age, you think about the state of Connecticut as a rectangle on its side. Right down through the center of the state, there was a humongous chunk of ice, which, as it was sitting there, just pulverized the Connecticut brownstone to dirt. And as the ice melted, a lot of loose, fine soil from the north washed down, settled in the valley, and created just a perfect environment for agriculture. When the English settlers decided to leave Massachusetts, there was information from explorers that in Connecticut, right in the center of the state, there was an area, flat valley, that was perfect for growing. It was along a big river, the Connecticut River, and it might be a good place to check out. So around 1640, there was this exodus from Massachusetts to Windsor, Connecticut. And what the settlers found were the Indians, the Mohegans and the Pequots. And they were already growing all kinds of stuff in the valley, tobacco being one of the crops. So, you know, the growing of tobacco in this area goes back more than 300 years, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. And the early settlers followed suit, and besides everything else they were growing, grew tobacco as well. It wasn't till about the 1880s, several families in Windsor, old-time families, had large tracts of land, and they really started up the industry in the area. And a couple of those families, it's just been passed down from one generation to the next. They're still there. And as I say, it's a fairly large industry considering the area that they're working in. So if you ever are in Connecticut and you're heading north from Hartford on Interstate 91, as you get up towards Bradley International Airport, you can see the tobacco fields, the tobacco barns. The characteristic tents that they put over the tobacco. And certainly taking off in any direction from Bradley or landing. If you look out your window, you'll see the tobacco fields. So, that's the little bit that I know, but I have 3 links that I'm going to put down in the description. One of them is an article from a cigar magazine about, it was written by a guy who actually worked on a shade tobacco farm in Connecticut. Really nice read about picking the tobacco and everything that goes into it. The second link is a YouTube video, which is a lot of pictures from one of the family farms. I think most of the pictures were taken like in the 1940s, 1950s. That's really interesting, and it was well done. And then I have a link to a photographer on Flickr who put together a nice set of pictures. Tobacco barns, the tobacco as it's hanging. Really nice shots. So check those out. This isn't half bad. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.